When using the Liko, check the light to see if it's charged or charging. Check the remote. The functions on the remote are up and down. While protracting the Liko, you can protract the Liko all the way to the ground. It can also be used for falls in case of any emergencies. Try to keep the Liko from being obstructed from wires and other objects. When retracting the Liko, make sure the Liko is retracted all the way to its base so that it can properly charge. Once the Liko is retracted, make sure you put the remote back into its base and look at the light to see if the remote is charging. When in an emergency, if the remote is not working to the Liko lift, you can use the base of the Liko lift. It has arrows that go up and down. In this instance, you need 3 people to work in the room using the Liko lift, 2 for the patient and 1 for the base of the Liko lift. In this segment of the video, you want to make sure the patient has their bed alarm on. You want to make sure that they have their call light. You want to make sure that the patient is cognitively sound, and you also want to make sure you consult with the nurse if they need restraints. As you see, the patient has wandered away from the bed in the middle of the bathroom door, and both colleagues are trying to assess the situation and check the environment using their CPR skills and their BLS skills. As soon as they see the patient is okay, they go ahead and take the sheet sling and measure it onto the patient. And it's also imperative to make sure that the head of the sheet sling is at the head of the patient's head. There is a tag at the top to indicate where the head of the sheet sling should go. Both colleagues are making sure that the sheet sling is measuring from head to toe, from side to side. And making sure that the patient is on the sheet sling properly. When the patient is fully under the sheet sling, approach the Liko lift. The sheet sling is out of proximity of the Liko lift. We will go to step 3 of this problem. As you can see, the patient is out of proximity of the Liko lift, as both colleagues are trying to bring the patient in proximity of the Liko lift. Make sure that the patient's hands, feet, and head are inside of the Liko sheet. Properly secure the loops onto the hooks of the Liko lift. As you are lifting up with the Liko lift, make sure everything is secure. This is a fluidization bed. The fluidization bed helps patients with sores and wounds on the lower extremities. At the end of this bed, you'll find a button with white dots on it that helps turn on and off the fluidization. It is imperative when putting a patient back to bed, you take the brief off and the sheet sling out from under the patient, as those two things hold moisture to the patient's wounds and sores. In this segment of the video, we will show you how to place a horse sling on the patient while they're lying in bed. Have the patient roll from side to side while placing the horse sling under the patient. Make sure the head of the horse sling is at the head of the patient. There is a tag on the horse sling that can indicate its position. Have the patient roll to the other side. Make sure that the patient is in the middle of the horse sling. Take the straps of the horse sling and loop them under the patient's legs. Have the patient cross their arms. Make sure you take the horse sling straps and loop them into each other, and take the green colored part of the horse sling loops and hook them on the hooks of the Liko lift. And then for the shoulders, you take the red part of the loops and hook them on the Liko lift. This will create a sitting position for the patient. Make sure everything is secure on the horse sling, and transfer the patient safely to the edge of the bed. In this video, the patient is being transferred to the commode. Make sure the horse sling is secure, and make sure the patient's arms are crossed while transferring to the commode. This could be done by 1 or 2 people depending on the core stability of the patient. Once the patient is on the commode, have the patient relax. Unhook the loops from the hooks on the Liko lift. And make sure the Liko lift is put out of harm's way so it does not obstruct the patient. Take the Hoyer sling straps out from under the patient's legs. And have the patient bend forward so that you can remove the Hoyer sling out from under the patient. When putting the patient back to bed, take the Hoyer sling straps and unwrap them from out under the patient's legs. Straighten out the patient's legs and try to drive the Hoyer sling straps further up the patient's back. You can either have the patient roll left or right to take the Hoyer sling out from under the patient. As you can see in this video, you can raise the head of the bed of the patient and have them do long sitting to bend forward and take the Hoyer sling out from the patient's back.